Hello everyone! I have a collection of Tonic supplies here on my craft space, and I've got the Magnificent Magnolia stamp set that I've used before, and this is the card that we're going to make. I love the holographic paper. This is the Craft Perfect mirror card in Holo waves. Isn't that awesome? That is blinding. And a few other things. I have my Will's Hands word dies and some fun stuff to play with. So I'm taking the Magnificent Magnolia stamp set, and I'm taking the more solid images from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp them in Nuvo Clear Mark embossing ink. So on watercolor cardstock, I'm going to do some watercoloring with the background and the foreground image today. So I'd like to do an emboss resist technique. So I'm using white embossing powder. So I've stamped it with clear embossing ink, and now I'm heat embossing it with white embossing powder. And I'm warping the heck out of this piece of paper. It is really messed up. And to solve that, I'm gonna just take something heavy that I have, and I actually have this I think it's a cheese tray or some kind of trivet. I don't know, it's really heavy, so we're gonna put it on my piece of paper and just let it sit there and flatten out while I stamp this other image. This is, I'm assuming, a magnolia. I'm not very familiar with flowers, but I'm learning, and I'm gonna stamp it with the same clear embossing ink and heat emboss it with the same white embossing powder to do some emboss resist watercoloring. Now, I love to emboss my images, especially when I'm watercoloring, because it creates a barrier basically to stay within the lines. Watercolor by nature likes to move, and you're using liquid. That's natural. But I'd like to use all my resources to try to stay in the lines. This is my splat box. This is my make a mess box, basically. I have the Shimmer powder in Lunar Rocket. This is so cool. I just sprinkle the powder. This is powdered watercolor, okay? And then I try to shake it up a little bit so it's not so concentrated, but you can do however you like or whatever the results you like. This is a water bottle with just plain water, and I'm spritzing it to activate the watercolor powder. Now, I like it when it's grainy, so I want to try to leave a lot of those specks in there, but I'm going to use this Nuvo paintbrush to kind of move the color away from my image and let that emboss resist happen. We're going to leave this background with this fan. It's like a little fan spa, and we're going to do some watercoloring with watercolor pencils. I love this. I don't use watercolor brushes. I use this blender pen. This to me is the right amount of liquid, but it's, I guess, I don't know, is it technically not watercoloring? It's okay, you can call me a watercolored cheater, okay? So I have the wells to help me stay in line, and I'm using a lot less water. So this is my watercolor technique. I love the way that it turns out. It gives me the accuracy that I want, I guess the control that I need, and I don't know, it's very fun and relaxing. You should try it. The blender pen is a good option. I'm taking some non-serrated scissors that happen to have a spring action handle to fussy cut around my image. I'm just trying to get as close to that embossed edge as possible without kind of cutting my image. I do not enjoy fussy cutting, but sometimes it's important to do. I like the way that this turned out. This flower is gonna look nicely tucked in the corner here with the background. It coordinates really nicely. So now I need a sentiment, and I'm definitely gonna use the Holo Waves paper. This stuff is so cool. It's so shiny, and it has a rainbow of color in it. I love it. So we're gonna take the Will's Hand Enjoy die set. It comes with a shadow that we're cutting out of with the Holo Waves card. Okay, so we're gonna have a shadow that is sparkly and shiny. And then we're going to take the Enjoy, the word die from the same set, and cut that out of white cardstock. Specifically, we're using the smooth white cardstock by Tonic Studios. And I just load this whole sheet in, and I think I cut about 3 additional layers of the Enjoy. I love these dies because the top of the eye stays in there. I don't have to mess with it. And that's awesome to me. I'm using my little pokey tool to hold down my word die and adding little dabs of Deluxe liquid adhesive to stack them together. I just kind of, I fiddle with it. I fiddle with it until it lines up correctly. And then I leave it on my silicone mat with an acrylic block on top so that it adheres nice and tight. I'm using the largest Craft Perfect foam squares. I'm just putting one right behind this Magnolia and putting it in its place on our background in the lower right hand corner. I love how the Lunar Rocket Shimmer powder has so many different colors in the background and how it coordinates with the holographic cardstock. I used more of the liquid Deluxe adhesive to adhere the white word die to its holographic shadow, and again I'm just leaving it there to dry completely. So I wanted to add a little more something, and this is the Nuvo Stone Drops in the gray color, Boulder gray to be specific, and when it dries it looks like almost like a geode. So it's really cool. So I added 3 of those drops to my project, and then I did use that same foam adhesive on the back, just cut into thin strips. I put double foam tape on that E and the N, and then a single layer on the rest of the Joy. That's it. That's my project for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know that I enjoyed creating it with you. Coming up next is some fun 4th of July footage with my family. Woo!
Dexter. Sparkling.
We might not be there yet.
Try doing it.
This is a terrible way. This is terrible.
The butt part down. Like that. Hurry, like that. Come on.
You gotta do it fast.
You're gonna burn me. Fast.
What's up?
When are we gonna actually launch a firework?
I don't know what Daddy has. You gotta ask him.
What is he doing?
He's flying the drone.